What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the East Coast Red and Gold podcast. I'm Niners Jess. Ty Alston is inactive tonight. We got Maddie B, and your girl Beck should be joining us shortly. What's going on, Maddie?
All the usual, pessimistic with a side of light optimism. So I think we'll be all right. Week 11 came a lot sooner than we expected.
That's true, and thank God for that. All right,
See?
so without further ado, let's bring on our special guest, Chuck's Flavor Train, joining
You
us.
say
What's up,
you
Chuck?
say special. I don't know about that. How we all doing tonight?
Good.
We're
How
doing
about
good.
yourself?
I'm great. I'm here. We get to talk some 49er football. We're that much closer to the season. I'm ready, baby. I'm ready.
Yeah,
I
let's
gotta
roll.
I gotta ask the most important question right out of the gate.
Yes,
I
sir.
feel like you have probably gone to games and worn white jerseys and somehow managed to get maybe like, I don't know, some sort of sauce on them of some type.
Oh, yeah.
How do you get them all clean? Like last year I was at a game and had coffee spilled on me on my white jersey. Like I ended up like going to the bathroom, cold water, rinsed it all out, and like
Hey,
it
man,
was all
these are the
good.
risks
But
we
like,
take. These are the risks we take trying to
right,
show our fandom and be dedicated to the game and, display our pride, if you will. But no, I
right.
definitely had a lot of spills on this. And truth be told, there are a couple stains on here that won't fully go away. But that's one of the
Okay.
reasons I wear this one so much. It's kind of already tarnished. So I'm like, well, let's keep adding on. It's
Battle
like I got
scars,
some
right?
throwback jerseys. I got some other ones. I'm like, I can't
Mhm.
touch those. But yeah, this one's the one where if I'm going to get dirty, I'm wearing this. So but I do have some new girl I'll be busting out for this season. So, but we got to keep that right for game day. So,
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. See, it's cool that you've got the tiers like that. I've got like an older Ronnie Lott one that I got on eBay for like $20, but like somebody had like a chicken wing stain on it, right? Like I managed to get most of it out, but like you can
that's
still see with
history,
the
though.
right
That's
light.
like history. Like they could have,
Exactly. And I don't know
that could
where
have
that
happened.
happened, right? Yeah.
Exactly. It could have
That
happened to at
yeah,
the stick. You have no idea.
yeah.
So, yeah.
That could have happened at any point in time. So whatever it was, like it's there. So like, and then I wore it to the Dallas game, the Dallas playoff game a couple years ago. The famous one, where
Absolutely. And
where they
yeah.
ran out of time and Trent laughed. So it was a great day. It was a good
And
day.
it's one of those things where you have different jerseys for different things. I have certain hats, certain
Right.
chains. I have too much memorabilia, too much, jerseys, collectibles, and all that. But they all have their time and place. So I'm excited.
Absolutely. It's good to keep them in the rotation, ready to go and know where they are when it's time, right? Because
Absolutely. And it's like one of those things, at least on social media, I get DMs like, people, hey man, I'm from out here and I'm not a Niner fan, but I see what you guys do out there. It's like what you guys wear, the culture. It's like even the 49er attire is almost part of the fandom itself. You got to look right, you got to represent, whether it's chains, helmets, rings, just red head to toe, whatever it is. But people represent in very cool ways and it's fun.
I
Jess
actually have a
has
white
the best
jersey this
gear.
year too, with George Kittle painted on the back of it.
There you go. And she's already got it planned out. She's ready. See? Yeah.
So I'm ready. It's all in the suitcase for the home opener.
Wait
There
a
you
minute. Wait a
go. There
minute.
you go.
Hold on. Time out. Okay. I don't want to spoil this, but I need like when you say painted on the back, okay, like is there no number on the back? Is it just like a portrait?
No, it's actually it's a
Or
regular
like
jersey.
is it his photo inside the numbers and the name on the
Yeah,
back?
like
Ooh,
he's
that looks nice.
painted within like the numbers on the back.
That's
That'll be
clean.
I'm looking forward to seeing the
Yeah,
photos.
me too. Now you got me hyped. Now I got to do more shopping after this already. I'm
Yeah.
like, I got to get more stuff. So
Yeah.
thank you for
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
I saw someone do it last year and I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna look into that." So I have somebody in Florida who actually paints my sneakers too. And he wanted to do the jersey, so he did it for me and it came out really awesome.
Okay, you'll have to connect me after this.
Yes, definitely. For sure.
Jess knows
Um
all the people everywhere, all of them. Like she like brings together all the facets of like 49ersdom. It's really crazy. Like I don't
Yeah,
know
it's
how
good. I even on this
she's the
journey and
ambassador.
this whole process of just doing my cooking thing, social media, but then as the page grows and you meet more people and within that 49er community, like you said, there's chapters across the country of faithful that are just diehard and groups of people that just outside of football, hey, if you're in this town, you're a 49er fan, let me know. I'll hook you up with restaurants or I got a shoe guy, right? It's very good to know people. It's almost like a fraternity in a way. It's super cool. So
yeah, so before we move on, we got two sponsors. We got Faithful Gear. Go to faithfulgear209.com to get your faithful gear from Robert. And then we got hellafitted.com. Go get your stuff from Anthony. And, gear made for the faithful by the faithful. All right. So,
John, not to interrupt you too, but just to tie it in, I'm actually, if the doorbell rings in the next like 10 to 15 minutes, I'm expecting a package from Anthony and Hello Fitted today. It should be here
nice.
any minute in preparation. So, and that's not a paid promo. This is no
Next
plug. It just,
level
yeah,
product
That's awesome.
placement,
I'm just
ladies
being
and
real. So
gentlemen.
if it happens to come, I'll get the package and show all y'all. So
Next
Awesome.
level. Next
yeah.
level.
Good
We
stuff.
can do what is it the kids call it? An
unboxing or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
God, it's funny.
right.
Yeah, gotta involve the kids though. They
Right.
run everything. It's funny. Yeah.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
All right. So before we get into everything, I actually like to know how people become fans of their respective teams. So how did you become a 49ers fan?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, like any real faithful would through family. And that means my parents, had great and exquisite taste. They knew it was good. But no, I was adopted. I was born in Pittsburgh, California, little city out here in the Bay Area. For people that aren't familiar, it's like east of Oakland, I guess, if you will. But yeah, so I was born there, adopted at 8 months old to a family in Napa. And my dad was a Niners fan. My mom was not big into football. But luckily, the whole side of the family was 49er fans. As a kid, I can remember little bits, hearing the name Steve Young, but not really picking up on maybe the greatness at the time. Jeff Garcia to me was the man. Like he was, it's like he was my quarterback that when I was really coming into being able to pay attention was the quarterback. And then I remember JJ Stokes and Garrison Hurst. Those were like the players that really kind of got me involved. And from there, like the rest was history, to whether it was Brandon Lloyd or T.O. and everything kind of evolved. And being a kid, and I went to Candlestick once or twice, and then my dad sold insurance in the Bay Area, so he had a couple clients that were players as well. But it never really crossed over into that superstar fandom. I started playing fantasy football, oddly enough, and that's what really gets you hooked and obsessed, because you're tracking all the stats. It's not you're worried about the points, but you're tracking all the news for injuries. And as you're doing that, being a Niner fan, you're obviously tracking all that information, and that really took things to the next level. I would say between like 2009 and 2013 is when it really kind of escalated, and then ever since then, it's just been all out 49er mania. So no looking back, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
That's awesome. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the way I became a fan, I mean, living in New Jersey, I'm in Giants and Jets territory. A little further south is Philadelphia Eagles country. So my dad watching Joe
Terrible
Montana
place
at
to
Notre
be.
Dame. Yeah. My dad watching Joe Montana at Notre Dame, and then just,
That makes
seeing
sense.
Joe Montana go into, be drafted by the Niners, and the rest is history. So
Absolutely.
so it's definitely a good thing. And I'm
Yeah,
so
that's an
glad I'm a
awesome story
49ers fan.
too. And that's like a real way to like become a fan of a new team. It's you growing up, you always talk trash with your buddies, and you're talking, oh, you like this team because they won the Super Bowl last year. But to be like, oh no, we like this player in college and we followed this one. That's a beautiful way to become a fan of a new team versus, a bandwagon. Growing up in my era, there was suddenly a lot of Patriots fans all of a sudden. And now they're all back to being Niners fans, which I'm like, what happened? It's like, but yeah, it's easy when teams are winning to say that's your favorite team versus picking a player or a region and riding or dying with that area. So,
Growing up here in Maine, I just grew up petty, and that's why I became a 49ers fan. I didn't like the Giants. I didn't like the Cowboys. So,
and that's another good reason as well. It's like
right.
my nephew, luckily we converted him, but for like a year, my nephew would love to root for the Eagles, but it's only because he was so little, and that pissed off my brother, and my brother would get mad, and my nephew being 2.5, 3 years old, he just liked to see my brother get mad and upset. And now that he's older and can talk and understands, he's all about the Niners. But for like a year, he loved to just say Eagles and things like that. Because my brother's like, no, we don't say that. It's like, so it's just funny the way things work and how, people change, grow, and how, like I said, the fandom evolves.
When I was growing up, me and my friend, we grew up here in New England, so like nobody cared about the Patriots, so I was rooted for the Patriots because they're like that fun little AFC team. This is way back in the early, in like the mid 80s. And like he liked the Rams and I liked the 49ers, and it kind of branched off. Like I ended up following the 49ers and he just stayed on with the Patriots. And Patriots fans just became insufferable actually after the Red Sox won the World Series. That was it. They became a different group of people, man. Different group. different
Yeah,
group.
and again, being out here in the Bay too as a Giants fan, we had our little run, with the World Series and stuff and the championships, and then, but yeah, the Patriots were always winning. But I agree, it's like the whole the bravado of a New England fan, if you will, was a bit much to handle, And it's like I love people now. It's like, oh, blah blah, like the Niners. You guys are only happy right now because you guys are hella good. It's like, yeah, we're good, but we're also a fun team. I enjoy the art of talking trash. I will never like the Rams. I don't like the Seahawks. I'm not a fan of the Cardinals, and it's always going to be like that, And I don't care how. Like, to me, that's what makes it fun. I'm knocking on wood. I'm very lucky to be watching, this kind of this window that we're in right now, as we all are. And we want to maximize and capitalize on that. But at the same time, if the wheels fell off and whatever happened, I'm still going to talk shit on all those other squads because that's what I think is fun. But that's just my fandom. It's win, lose, or tie. I'm going to root for the Niners. I'm going to put down other teams that are going against the Niners, and it'll always be like that. But it's always in that friendly spirit of let's talk trash. At the end of the day, we can have a beer, and we'll get you guys next time, or vice versa. But I just think there is something to riding with your team again, and going against the opposition, if you will. It's you get hyped up on game, they talk some trash, and at the end, nobody gets hurt. Everyone goes home, and you live to do it another day. So.
All right. How did you get into cooking?
Oh man. Well, as a fat kid, and I still am a fat kid at heart and physically. But as a fat kid, it's growing up. I always loved food. My mom, she always made dinner for the whole family. Family dinner was a big thing for us. And I think it got to a point where it's like, oh, I'm big enough and able to use the stove and I want to eat X, Y, and Z. And I see it in the fridge of the pantry and mom's busy. Like, I'm going to make it. So from being a little kid, I remember just wanting to make stuff and I did. And my mom would kind of guide me through the process. And then from there, it just evolved, football, high school football, you do team dinners, me and the linemen, it's like, we don't want to go dance. Like, let's have a big dinner party and we'll go to the dance later or whatever. And then meet a girl. So I met my wife now, but at the time, my girlfriend, I'm cooking dinner every night. And you're playing around, you're having fun, you're cooking new things because you're balling on a budget. You want to see what works. And then from there, all that love was really channeled into barbecue when I got a smoker in 2016. I got a Weber Smoky Mountain. And that was like, giving a drug addict like a needle. From ever since then, I've been addicted. I've been doing it daily. I can't stop. The journey's been amazing. And that started off as just playing around in the backyard to posting on Instagram to, talking with 6 people thinking I'm cool because I have a friend in New York that also smokes meat, to where I'm at now, where it's my full-time job and I cater and do media and whatever the hell else this whole crazy ride has been. So it's really been a fun process, but started as a youngin' and I'm still eating and cooking daily, if you can't tell.
So, speaking of this crazy ride, I see that you cooked for Rich Eisen.
I did, yes. Very
You
nice man. Very nice man.
you cooked with Emerald,
I did. Super amazing. Never ever thought that would happen.
and you cooked for our very own Brock Purdy and the O line. So,
I
talk a
did do
little bit
that as
about those
well.
experiences.
Yeah. Again, first of all, I always want to knock on wood and I'm thankful and grateful. I really don't even know how to describe it in words. The whole journey, everything I've done, the experiences I've had have been nuts. The Rich Eisen thing is something that came up with Weber. So I actually cooked for Rich Eisen and Jim Rome, separate occasions, but went down to their podcast studios and kind of did some stuff for them, which was super cool just because, again, I'm loud, I'm obnoxious, and I don't care. So I was talking football and talking trash. Rich Eisen's got a lot of love for the Niners, as you guys will probably all know. So that was really cool. And then, yeah, talking to Jim Rome, just picking up on the way they move and operate and kind of seeing their thought process. It was motivational and inspiring. As far as the Emerald thing, that was something I'm involved in a business, excuse me. I'm involved in a business project. We're working with a lot of people right now. It just so happens that we had some cross pollination where it worked out that this opportunity with Emerald came about. I didn't know it was going to happen or that it would be me. And it was. Getting to cook with him was like, I mean, I broke down crying. I don't know if you saw the video I posted, but I couldn't even hold the emotion together. I got to FaceTime my dad with him. It's like, Dad, like we were at his steakhouse in Vegas 13 years ago. Like now I'm cooking with him and you're talking to him. Like, ask like the man something. So again, that was a dream come true. I took a trip to Florida after that, had an amazing time. And then, yeah, I came back and it was on the books. But yeah, long story short, I got to cook for the Niners. I went to Brock's place. The linemen were there, and yeah, it was a really cool experience. I don't want to go too much into detail because I never want to jinx anything, and I don't want it's again. I don't as we talked a little bit before the podcast.
We want you to be asked back so you can tell us about more things later. That's totally
but
fine.
there's really like,
right?
I was telling Jess, like, I don't ask questions. Like, I ask, do you like the food? Do you want something to drink? Can I get you a water? Am I in your way? Like, I want them to be happy with the food. And outside of that, like, when I'm not barbecuing or doing barbecue stuff, I don't want to talk about that shit. Like, talk to me about life, ask about my family, ask about football, like, but I'm sure the last thing they want to do when they're chilling and having a barbecue is like, hey guys, what's the tea on this? And can I get an autograph? And it's like, no, dude, like, eat the food, hang out, enjoy yourselves. I'm not here. If you want to talk or ask me questions about the food, cool. But outside of that, everyone was super cool and respectful. But yeah, at the end of the day, it was a dream come true. It's something I'm glad I got to do with my friends. Like, we'll never forget that. And I'm super grateful to the entire team and, to the Purdy family for opening their home. But outside of that, I hope I handle it professionally. I hope they have fun, and, it is what it is.
Awesome. That's
Yeah.
really, really cool stuff.
Thank you.
All right. So
I will say to any kid out there, sorry to interrupt you, any kid out there, regardless of what it is you do, chase your dreams. I'm downplaying it now because I don't want to get emotional. And again, like I said, I don't want to spill tea, but you will never know where your journey, what you do in life will take you. I never would have thought I'd do all those things in the span of 10 days, let alone in my whole life. So whatever it is you do it with passion, do it with love, stay true to yourself, and you never know where things will take you.
that's awesome. Ty
Facts,
Austin in
Ty,
the chat
facts.
tonight.
Just like that.
All right. So the season's starting, 2024
yes.
season. Niners play New York Jets Monday Night Football. It's our home game. What's good to make for tailgating? What are you
Oh
bringing?
my goodness. So if I was going to do a tailgate, which again, if I'm home, I guess you wouldn't really call it a tailgate. I'd be with some friends, but we'll call it a barbecue. But barbecue or tailgating, the one thing I'll start off that anyone should be doing at every tailgate, and I would assume it's out there based on the amount we across America consume, but that's wings. Wings are the number one thing to get the party started. And why are wings good? One, they're affordable. They're easy to make. If they do get cold, you can really quickly char them up on a gas grill or charcoal grill. And the thing beyond that is you can make one batch of wings and prep 3 or 4 sauces. Some people like it spicy. There's a hot sauce. You want a sweet sauce? We got that. You want them dry? These are actually dry, rubbed, naked, and smoked. Dig in yourself. So they're an easy way to feed the crowd, please the people. And if you want to get fancy with it, garnish them with bacon and get wild with it. But again, they are a playground for you to explore. I encourage you to do that. If you really want to flex on the people and show up barking like a big dog, bring a brisket. A brisket is always going to set the party off. A brisket's one of those things where it takes a long time to cook, but you have to prep ahead of time. What makes that ideal for tailgating is once you're at the tailgate, it's chilling in a cooler or a warmer, ready to slice. You can hang out and get drunk. Oh shit, you guys want brisket now? Take it out and slice, and it's ready to go. And like I said, it's a big flex because most likely no one else is going to have that. So simple, easy wings. You want to flex and be a big dog, go with a brisket.
Awesome. And we got you, girl Bex.
What's up? What's up? Better late than never, huh?
Sorry, I am on the struggle bus. I am not well tonight.
It's okay. If I would have known I was the guest, I wouldn't have shown up either. It's all good.
No, because your whole bio is I love food, and I was like, here's the man after my heart. So what can you not love about a guy who the very first sentence is, food makes me happy. Yeah.
Ooh, I love it. I love it. You're making me blush. Okay. You can be late then. It's all right.
No, I got ready and I sat down on the couch because I'm not feeling well and I just fell asleep. I'm just like,
no apologies. No apologies whatsoever.
No worries. All right. So let's talk some 49ers football now.
Let's do it. Let's get to the fun stuff.
We play the Jets Monday Night Football, as I just said.
Yes.
Who would be your X factors on offense to get this W?
You're starting with me, huh? Right away. I mean,
yeah, I am.
You want to look at X factor, so I think we can ignore the obvious one. So please, in the comments, don't be like, "What about this person?" We're going to ignore the obvious one. So I'll say the big X factor is going to be Trent Williams. One, what kind of shape is he going to be in? I know he's saying he's feeling good, but not being with the team, what's that chemistry going to be like? And him working with the teammates around him. I think the other, kind of X factor is going to be Ayuk. What kind of shape is he in? I think that the mojo and the energy lately has been good, especially the way the whole Pearsall thing worked out, considering how good have gone. It seems like it really rallied the team. I'm glad everyone's positive, but it still is a team that hasn't practiced together for too long. So I think those are the two areas to look at. What's Trent going to look like? Because if the line isn't there and he's not playing like he should, that's obviously a big point of danger. And then if Ayuk isn't there, is Deebo going to be able to fill in that void? Obviously Pearsall's not playing. Is Juwan going to be able to step up? So I think it's one of those things that if those two people aren't on their A game, or if there's, not up to speed, that could be a detriment to the squad. What about yourselves?
Hey, Maddie.
Dom Pooney. Can he help that line a little bit? It can't all be on Trent Williams. And they think enough of him to start him right away as a rookie. So I to me, that's a big one. And then the other X factor, are you just talking offense right now?
Yes.
Okay. If you're talking offense right now as well, I would really like to see them, I don't know, maybe utilize George Kittle to start the season as a receiver, as opposed to say just a blocker, right? I know there's going to be times where it's probably, they're going to have to do that, but I feel like the Jets are going to be pretty vulnerable to some tight end stuff. So having him have a big game, I think, is going to be critical to beating the Jets.
I don't want to piggyback, and I know I just said my piece, but I agree with your picks. I think with Pooney, I've seen so much from him. I think preseason, in my mind, he's almost like a sure thing, And even I think one thing I like seeing with Pooney is him and McKivitz. There are certain times it seems like they're really in sync with each other. And I know in the past, McKivitz has drawn some ire from certain people, things like that. But I like the way they're working. So in my mind, I'm almost like they're set. But you're right. Will it translate to real season games? I agree. And then Kittle's another one where it's like, everyone, I think, all season's been saying 8 to 10 targets a game. So it's like if it doesn't happen at this point, it's like Shanahan don't like him or something, And I think he does like him. So I would assume those targets would be there. But yes, I agree. Those are excellent points as well.
With Pooney, the thing
I'm going run game. I'm going, what's CMC going to look like? And how much time is Jordan Mason going to get? Because the Jets weren't great at the run game last year. So I feel like we're going to pound the rock at them a lot. And I think Christian McCaffrey and his ankle strain and not practicing a lot, he's going to be a big X factor. And how much time does Jordan Mason get? And maybe Deebo gets to line up in the backfield. And we see some of that stuff, those kinds of plays drawn up, for the Jets.
I'm actually going to go with the run game as well, because the Jets' run defense was ranked 25th last season.
Yeah, they weren't great.
So I see us running very heavily with CMC and hopefully Jordan Mason as well.
I think even speaking to the run game, though, looking back, if you look at games where Trent is in versus not, the yards per play, everything, it's a huge factor. So that's why I think I go back to how is Trent going to be? How is he going to be playing? Not just in pass protection, but he clears holes, man. He's a tractor out there. So
he's the key cog in the wheel. You already said it. So that's you got to have the big man before the rest of the engine can operate, right?
He just needs to stay healthy.
Absolutely. And I think one thing, like we're talking about Kittle, we're talking about CMC and Deebo. I think one of the ways, at least me watching, and obviously I'm not an NFL coach, I'm a dumbass fan that drinks beer and barbecues, but I think one way to keep players healthy, mix things up a little bit. Like we have all this talent, I think by spreading it out and not giving, CMC 23, 25 carries a game and spreading it out a little more, giving Deebo more carries, maybe more passes to Kittle. I think all the points we're touching on is also a good way to extend the longevity of all the players throughout the entire season, personally, not just for Monday night, but going forward throughout the whole season.
16 to 19 touches should be McCaffrey's max, dude. None of these guys should really be touching the ball over 20 times a game. Especially when we're winning. When we're winning, yes.
It's like when he has, I get the stats, but
what
it's
are we doing?
Madden, it's not the Madden game. It's like I agree completely. Late in the season, we're going for it. You need it. Give them all. When it's that time, we all know what happens in the postseason and things like that. But when you have that choice and the game is not on the line, I always feel like rest them. Play it safe. We have the talent to spread it out and keep players healthy. So that's just and I'm a scaredy cat. I'm people are in the fantasy day and age, everyone's cutthroat, go for it. I'm like, no, we're good. Rest them, get on the couch, put your feet up. It's like play again next week. So But yeah, again, I trust Shanahan though as well. But yeah, I would like to just see it spread around more and less carries for CMC for sure, at least to start the season.
Just think with CMC though, like when he has the hot hands, like it's hard to actually like go away from him.
Yeah.
It's fire in the hole. You got to throw it, right? You got to throw the bomb to the hole, fire in the hole. Got to give the rock to the guy that's got the hot hand. Can't take that away from him for sure.
He's chocolate ice cream at 10 o'clock on a Friday night, right?
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't.
On July 15th, right?
Right.
In the heart of summer, you know it.
Yeah.
All right, X factors on defense. Go ahead, Becca.
Ooh, on defense for me, it's I guess I'm really concerned about like the secondary. Are they ready? Because Aaron Rodgers, I guess for me, that's where I think the X factor is going to come in. I think we're going to see a rusty Aaron Rodgers come in, and I think our guys are going to have some opportunities to take some balls and make some plays. And I hope they're ready for that. And I know, like they're saying, Fred's questionable, and I forget who else is questionable. It seemed like a lot of people are questionable. We had some fluky injuries all off season, but I think that to me is the X factor is our guys ready to step up and take some steals from a rusty Aaron Rodgers, because I think he's not going to have the best game ever. If we get a little pressure on him, he hasn't played a full season. He played a lousy season his last year in Green Bay before that. So he has not played prime Aaron Rodgers football in a couple of seasons. So we might be ripe for the picking if our guys are ready to step up and make some key plays. And that's, I think, is the X factor, is if our boys are ready, we might just have the biggest runaway of all openers. So like that to me is the X factor. How well is our secondary going to play, or defense in general, really?
Yeah, they didn't have him out in preseason, which I was kind of surprised at. So I'm sure there will definitely be rust there. But my X factor is actually going to be Leonard Floyd.
Well, right, you want that too, yeah.
Yeah, he's opposite end of Nick Bosa. Last year you can say he was the cause of Aaron Rodgers, Achilles tear. But this year, he's with the Niners, hoping that he goes off, and we'll see what happens. But he's definitely my X factor for this game for sure. Go ahead, Chuck.
Yeah, I would go with Leonard Floyd and just kind of expand upon that to being the entire D line, and I think not just in the sense of the pass rush, but also stopping the run. I think that in the years where our secondary, going back 2 seasons ago, where our secondary really shined, was they did have the benefit of the opposition's quarterbacks were always under pressure. Our D line was constantly getting pressure and also shutting down the run. So I think the entire D line is going to be the X factor on the defense. That's going to allow everybody to shine. If Bosa and Floyd show up, obviously Rodgers is going to have a bad day. When he has a bad day, it's going to allow our defenders and defensive backs to look that much better as well. So I'm giving it to the D line.
Maybe he'll see some ghosts with Leonard Floyd coming at him.
Hey, I have to believe that's real. You never know.
Right?
He's breaking off the edge. He's going to let that ball go a little bit quicker, I bet.
And our secondary guys need to be ready for that.
Exactly.
The rust, and that's what I think is going to be fun. Whether they're ready, that they're going to shine. I think that's going to be fun to watch.
I could also see the Jets running the ball with Breece Hall.
Yeah,
as
and
well.
That's why I said the whole D line's got to step up.
Yeah. I mean, the whole D line really definitely has to step up, and because our run defense last year was kind of questionable.
I think you're right.
At times,
yeah. So we definitely have to show up there Monday night. Maddie, what do you think?
I was going to expand on that, but Malik Collins and Javon Hargrave specifically kind of have a chance here to be kind of a modern day Bryant Young, Dana Stubblefield combo, which I think is really what this team is going to need to kind of fill that little gap that they had last year. They also need to be able to set the edge. Leonard Floyd, again, you had already mentioned that, but Leonard Floyd's going to be big on that. I also think they're going to be deploying some of these safeties, whether it's Brown, whether it's Mustafa, kind of like linebackers. So I think it's really key that they know exactly what they're doing and they are where they are supposed to be, right? I think they're going to be doing a little bit of weird stuff until Dre Greenlaw gets back, especially after we're all recovering from the Oren Burks fiasco of the Super Bowl.
As Chuck takes a drink.
I'll sip my water.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Some things are just never fun to talk about.
No. I'm still not over that. Not over the Super Bowl, but
no.
It's weird.
Kyle Williams and Oren Burks walk into a bar. Everybody walks out.
I was just about to say the bar shuts down.
That's it. Everybody just leaves.
Yeah.
Shut the lights off, please.
Yeah, it's just too bad. But yeah, no, it's one of those things. I think for me, when just going back to the Super Bowl, when it first happened, I was in so much shock that it took me 2-3 months to really be depressed about it almost, At first I'm like, oh man, whatever. And then 2 months later, I'm like, dude, what just happened? It's but it really did. I was in shock for real, but it's a new season and we're going to start it off with a bang, baby. First up, Karen Rodgers going to be taken to the chokehold, putting him in the chokey like Miss Trunchbull. He ain't going to like getting there. So I do feel like we're going to come out and put on a dominant performance. We have to, people have high expectations of the squad. That players, I would have to assume, feel and know that. I'm feeling confident about the way we're looking,
Yeah. And
plus the Lord's on our side. It's like the Angels in the outfield. Again, Pretty Ricky, now White Boy Rick out there earning some streak cred. The boys are out there partying with Rick Ross. We got the mojo on our side. It's time to go flex. It's time to go out and have some fun. I think that's what the team's going to do.
Well, I mean, Pretty Ricky being in the weight room today already, a couple days being shot is what kind of stuff is this guy made of?
I know. It makes me question my own manhood, but I'm like, oh, I can't go to the gym. I had 3 margaritas yesterday. And I'm
exactly.
Oh, shit, I better get to the gym.
Did he walk into many men? That's what I'm wondering. Did that happen?
And I am here. I'm like, I can't get off my couch because I sat down.
Right. No, it's definitely motivational, and I think the team is
it's burning right now, and here I am.
Did you see Trent Williams talk about that? That was kind of an impetus.
Yeah, it's that's my teammate. What's going on? I got to be with my team, type thing. Yeah, I agree. It's it's
crazy.
People find the oddest things to rally around, and I think in this circumstance it's completely warranted. It's not an odd thing. I think it's one of those things this is some miraculous type stuff that's happening. It puts things in perspective, and regardless, I think it makes you realize there's bigger things out there in life. So let's go have some fun. That's the main thing. It's the one thing I did say going back to cooking for Brock Purdy, I just told the boys as I left, I'm like, I just want you guys to know, you guys are fun to watch. One thing as a fan, I just want to say thank you as a faithful. You guys are hella fun to watch. Whatever camaraderie you have, it seems real because you're hella fun to watch. That's the only thing I said to them. And I meant that. They just seem like they're having a good time. As a fan, I fucking love watching them play. Part of my French, but I get excited. But I love watching the boys play. This little squad we have right now, this core group, it's really cool to watch. It reminds me of watching the San Francisco Giants in that run. It's there's something there. People didn't see it, but there's something there. And it's that's how I feel about these guys. So, I'm excited.
So, Chuck, I'm sorry I joined late, but did anyone ask you about the new tailgate rules, and is that affecting anybody? And did you guys talk about that already? Am I bringing up something?
No. They didn't ask about that. It's not something that I guess. No,
it's not going over well in my tailgate circles for sure. I understand.
Correct. Yeah,
that's I didn't know if if that's something you're facing too or dealing with.
I'm in a circumstance where every time I do a tailgate or go to a tailgate, someone else is putting it on. So as bad as it is for me, I feel worse for all the other people because it is a lot of work that goes into it, and there is a big culture out there. It's and I think that's. I don't want to speak for anybody, but in my experience, I'll say this. It almost seems like there's a little bit of a dissonance between the fans that attend and hang out versus, maybe corporate. And I understand corporate's trying to keep things safe. They want the flow and all that.
Yeah.
But I would imagine that instead of banning it or limiting it, there's got to be a way to hopefully consolidate or reorganize and make it safer or open up a new space to allow that to happen is what I would think. But I'm not a city planner. I don't make that type of money, and I barely pass, basic math. So I don't know. But I just hope that whatever the resolution is, it's one that, again, like there's other shit to be worried about. It's football time, like, as a fan. And again, I know people that's like, oh, part of their business is doing those tailgates. That sucks for them. So like, I want them to be able to have fun and enjoy the games. And as a fan, I don't want anybody put out on any side. So whatever it is, I hope it's a peaceful resolution. I hate to be PC fence sitter, but I just want everyone to be happy, and hopefully we can, maximize this and create the best environment for everybody, if that makes sense.
As the away fans coming, like it's a big deal because we know blue lot, this pole, green lot, that pole, this is where these people will be. And the tailgates are going to happen in a cohesive, collective manner. And to have them like not appreciate just the experience of that for the fans that has always been there is a little concerning that they're taking such a blind eye or turning a blind eye to that. Especially, when we had 2 wins and John Lynch walked the parking lot to all of these big tailgate groups and shook hands and took pictures when we had, 2 wins and the stadium wasn't full. So when I see them now want to go, oh no, it's about getting people in, these people showing up at the last minute to get in. Well, then open it an hour earlier. Or do something else to
I don't understand I don't understand the delay on the opening of any of this stuff. Like,
well, exactly.
Let's go.
Yeah, and it's like, I
went to a game
I went to Levi's South SoFi when we played the Rams last year, and it's like I was doing some tailgate stuff, and they opened it, I want to say 8 a.m.
I was
and that's what it was scheduled at, but they actually had it open at 7:30 because I pulled up at 7:30 and they were already letting people in. And it was one of those things where it's like, even being there with all the different 49er faithful that show up, it was cool to be doing a tailgate in a different stadium. It's like, even though I wasn't parked by them, I know where I could walk and bring all my food and go chill. I know that whole section's going to be all the Niner fans. And it's one of those things. And what's cool is I'm down in LA and I got homies that are Rams fans, and we're walking through, zero beef. Everyone's having fun. Everyone's drinking and partying with each other. Zero drama, sharing food. And they're like, dude, this is dope. Is this what it's like? I'm like, yeah, dude. Like, we just want to cook. Nothing like, it was. So, yeah, again, I think looking around and perhaps it's one of those things where it's like they're trying to figure out how to do it. Maybe it's a partial ban for the season. I don't know. But in the end, like I said, I think it's a big part of the culture is that fandom, that tailgate aspect. And when I first started doing stuff with the Niners, the number one thing that I remember telling to corporate, because I'm not a corporate guy or bigwig, but I'm saying the number one thing, especially with the Raiders leaving and going, like, we got to dominate the tailgate scene now. Like, there's no one out here in the Bay. It's like there's no fun shit to do on a Sunday like this. If you can provide a safe place for people to come and get together and root, like, why not go all in on that and make it like a cultural thing? And you have rappers going out there and performing, E40, Be Legit, J Diggs, like, it's a really cool thing. So again, it's shitty the way it's being handled, and I'm sorry, you can tell I'm starting to loosen up. But it's also one of those things where I would hope that they see and feel the effect, and I believe in my heart, maybe it shouldn't be positive, that things will work out. It might not be smooth getting there, but I have to believe things will work out because it's too big.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope you're right, because I do think there are people who put on these tailgates, that the groups that spend days prepping every weekend to get ready for a tailgate, and it's tents, it's flags, it's just such infrastructure that when I come out for games, I go out, I help them set up because I know they're early tailgaters. I go out, I'm on East Coast time, so we're up early. I can go out there, and the minute they get in there, you're helping set up and get ready, and then it's the best experience and fun for everybody because you get to coming from the East Coast out to the West Coast, we get to go out and hang out with people like us. We don't have that. We're going to away games. We're the enemy. We get to finally go to home games, and where the big people are set up, and you're like,
totally.
We get to go like enjoy the same energy, the thing that's bringing us there.
Yeah, you find your tribe.
No, right? Like it's crazy. So I wasn't sure if you had like a special spot that you tend to tailgate and.
No, like I said, I'm all over, and sometimes I'm doing stuff at the stadium or I have to be at the field early, so I can't even tailgate. So it depends. But if I do, I get around to, 408. Sure. It really depends. Yeah. So, but I usually try to hit there if I'm free, and then whoever else, I stop by and say what's up. I'm a loud guy, I walk and talk, so usually I'm not in a spot for more than 5 or 10 minutes, and that's just because I want to see all the stuff, drink all the drinks, try all the food, shake all the hands, and and try to get my big ass inside so I can get some food and sit down again.
Well, I hope all the media attention is gonna do something to sway the brass in the 49ers to either open it up an hour early so the early tailgaters and those groups get to get in and get set up and people can park.
I think so. Like I said, I believe in positivity and like putting out and I know it's corny, but like putting out the energy you want to bring back. And I feel like the fans are making enough noise, the faithful are talking enough that again, social media is so powerful nowadays. I don't see how things could not change and work out for a better. So we'll see.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
I've heard that once or twice or like 3 million times, but it's funny how for some people it still doesn't.
How true it rings, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, just some people they have to hear it 3 million and one for it to stick in. So who knows?
All right, Chuck, we know you got to go, but why don't you tell everybody, if you have something coming up or where everybody can find you, and go ahead.
Oh my gosh. If you go to chucksflavortrain.com, the website, upcoming travel schedules on there. I'm going to LA the 17th and the 18th for a food and film festival. It's a movie and food. After that, I'll be in Texas 3 times over the next 3 weeks. Everything chucksflavortrain.com, Chuck's Flavor Train, all social media. I'll be at Levi Stadium tomorrow doing a food review and testing out some of the eats for everybody coming up for all the season coming up. So, but I'm everywhere. If they throw up the Flavor Train Fat Guy signal, I'll show up until they get sick of me. So Chuck's Flavor Train everywhere and anywhere, baby. I appreciate you having me on. And go Niners, right?
Yeah, go Niners.
100%.
All right, Chuck.
My friend.
Feed the people, Chuck.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
Food is the way to everyone's heart.
We'll do this as we're going into the Super Bowl. We'll have this come back around. We'll do another one leading into that.
Absolutely. You got
bang,
it.
bang, Niner gang, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. All right, Chuck's Flavor Train. He's a cool dude.
Oh, he's
all right,
so
guys. So do we have to continue with the Monday night conversation? Do we have any concerns going into the game?
Always,
Maddie?
you get a defensive coordinator who knows all of your offensive tricks and stuff, right? And you see this all the time. The Pats used to go get beaten by their former coordinators, even though the teams would be garbage. The Lions, for example, on a Sunday night football game, right? Those Matt Patricia Lions shouldn't have been beating anybody, and they were. But they did, right? And Patriots went on to win the Super Bowl that year, but weird stuff happens. Monday Night Football, week 1, it's not always representative of everything. And this is really going to be the first time that you've got anything going on with the core group of this team kind of back together since the Super Bowl. That first snap that they take is going to be the first one that they have taken since the Super Bowl ended. That Trent Williams has been on the field for, and Christian McCaffrey and everybody. So I think there's going to be some growing pains to start this season, and I kind of expect it. Could it happen in this game? Sure, right? Could it happen in the next game? Maybe. Minnesota is always a pain in the ass to play in, but we'll deal with Minnesota next week. I think it's perfect drama for if you're not a 49ers fan, this is still a great game to watch. Because whether you love Rodgers or whether you hate Rodgers, he's a story. And then you already know the 49ers because of the Super Bowl last year, even if you don't know anything about the 49ers, based on who you really follow. So it's a pretty compelling story just from a whole thing on it. So, and the defensive coordinator facing the offensive coordinator and blah. So, I'm really going to be fascinated to see how this plays out, and I just want everybody to get through the day healthy and good, and move along. Because at the end of the day, guys, if they lose this game, it really doesn't do anything for tiebreakers. Doesn't do anything for nothing typically. So I'm not going to cry if that happens because it's opening day, and they lost to the Bears 2 years ago. Come on, if we can get past that, we can get past anything.
Yeah, that's true. It's our home opener. I mean,
I want him to win 49-0, dude. Let me just come out here. I want to be like Bill Schwarzsky super fans on Saturday Night Live and be mini Kyles and a tall Brock Purdy with a George Kittle bobblehead, 346 Jets 6, right? Like that's how I would like to word it. But no, like I want to be a realist because it's week 1 and weird shit happens in week 1. And like weird things always happen in games against the AFC East for this team too. You know what I mean? Good, bad, indifferent, like always weird stuff. So a lot of drama. I'm just excited that we're going to be watching real football, right? At the end of the day, like I think that's what it is. Like this journey is finally actually ready, right? We don't have
ready for send off.
We don't have to talk about Brandon Ayuk's contract. We don't have to talk about Trent Williams' contract. Hell, we don't even have to talk about Deebo Samuel's contract because he just did a restructure.
6 hours.
There's so many contract things that we do not have to talk about, and I'm so excited about it. We can just talk about what is happening on the field and what's going on. Week 1 against the Jets at home. Week 2 against Minnesota versus Sam Darnold. There's so many revenge games coming up. There's so many angles. Like it's almost like this season is scripted for the 49ers to be like watched every week. Like I'll be stunned if we don't find out next year that Netflix didn't just follow the 49ers and call it The Team and do it like receiver or quarterback and they just follow them the whole time, because it seems like there is a dramatic twist every week for this team around the corner, and week 1 is just one of them.
Maddie with the hot take and hot flex on the new Netflix series next year, The Team.
The Team. Right?
And let
I
it
was
be
just,
the
I
Super
was just
Bowl
gonna say, please shake
champion
the dirt. Right, go ahead, Becca.
I just think our, having Ayuk holding out and Trent Williams and now Pearsall having, his issues and things like that. It's like a whole lot of stumbling out of the block. We had so many injuries in preseason. I would only be shocked if we lost for those reasons. I think we're the better team. I think we're going to face a Jets team that has a rusty Aaron Rodgers, a team that wasn't great against the run. We're great against the run. What shape is Christian McCaffrey going to be in? That's going to be a key piece of it. Is he going to be able to just pound and him and Jordan Mason and Deebo and whatever? But, they're pretty good against the pass, but I think we're still the better team no matter how you slice it and dice it. It's really about what kind of chemistry they can bring on the field. We've had a lot of turnover in the roster. So I agree, Matt, week 1 is always a weird dynamic and this working out the kinks. But I think every team is facing that same working out the kink drama and trauma. And I hope that, maybe Aaron Rodgers is going to see a few ghosts with Leonard Floyd on the field and Leonard Floyd might get to him again. And we have those kinds of, I want to come out hot and fast. I hope they come out quick, hit fast, strong, and run up the score pretty easily and quickly. And then that gives, a lot of momentum to the team. I think a win against the Jets in week 1 is a huge momentum builder for the team, no matter what, going in against Minnesota. So I really hope we win. I hope we win resoundingly. But week 1 is always kind of that working out those kinks and problems, and you don't know who's going to fumble the ball. But I think we have some great returns like Trent Taylor coming back and people like that are known and trusted allies. So I think we've set ourselves up with some good, solid veterans to take this thing and win. I don't see us losing, honestly, but if we do, it's going to be for all of the issues we've had.
I think my one concern is on the defensive side of the ball, and it's with Devondre Campbell.
I mean, this is the team that let him go. I think they're going to know how to attack him, right? I mean, they kind of knew, right? Like Packers West, Packers East, so they're going to know, right? Like Rodgers is, it's just, there's always something, right? There's some sort of like, I don't know. They're like the villain in a Marvel movie, right? Not like one of the big ones, not like an Avengers movie, like one of the regular character movies where like the dude ends up getting like defeated, but like they always have some weird angle where like they're impervious to something that would normally, stop somebody from whatever, right? Like always. Somebody always has an angle against the 49ers. It's absolutely bizarre to me how that works. Like there's never a thing that like Kenny, that's what I think is going to happen. Like I think that's what you're eventually going to see. I think you're going to see a big time rotation of safeties this year in that slot. Maybe even when Dre Greenlaw comes back. That way they can kind of rotate, I think they might want to start rotating the linebackers similarly to the way they rotate the defensive linemen. Remember, Jordan Elliott's going to be a big deal this year too. It's not just. Pretty sure Kevin Givens is back. Like, there's a lot of guys this year that just got to stay healthy and go out there and do their 15, 20 snaps a game.
And don't dismiss. I think you're going to face a Rusty Rogers, so I don't think he's going to be throwing, these miraculous dimes. I think he's going to have some miscues, and maybe these guys get a chance to intercept and shine and really, really put him under a lot more pressure, and build their confidence. That's what I'm hoping we see is that Aaron Rodgers is not A-Rod of old. He's old A-Rod and is showing signs of weakness. And I hope that's what we get in week 1, where our guys get to exploit those weaknesses. His last year in Green Bay, he played injured. He wasn't great. And then he had, 8 seconds on the field last year. And he's got a lot of rust to shake off. He's great. He's going to, eventually find his groove and rhythm. But week 1, I don't necessarily think he's going to be in football shape. And I hope that's the case.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the fact that, he literally only played 4 plays last season. Practice only goes so far. They didn't have him out during preseason. They have 3 new starters along their offensive line. So we'll see what happens. I mean, we're, like you said earlier, we definitely are the better team. Yeah, Robert Saleh is familiar with us, but hey, we also have Brandon Staley, that could put in some wrinkles. Nick Bosa alluded to that not too long ago. So we'll see what happens. But as far as game planning, if you're Kyle Shanahan and Nick Sorensen on both sides of the ball, what type of game plan are you putting forward to beat the Jets? Maddie?
I think they're going to be aggressive early to start. I think they really are, because I think they actually trust the secondary. It's probably sounds crazy. The linebackers, maybe just in terms of the depth, they may not. But the secondary itself, like, this may be one of the deeper secondaries I think we've ever had. I think it will turn out to be one of the deeper secondaries we've ever had. So I don't think Rodgers is just going to be able to beat it on man coverage like he used to with Devontae Adams. You're going to learn a lot about Mooney Ward in this game, Garrett Wilson in this game. They're going to be matched up against each other a lot. That's something you're really going to have to keep an eye out on, because Mooney Ward wants to be paid like a 1, which, he's the. It's not just Brock Purdy next offseason. It's him and Deommodore Lenoir. And maybe writing's on the wall depending on how things go with Renardo Green, or things go with another guy, or maybe somebody gets picked up with the trade deadline because somebody ends up on the market. It won't be Patrick Surtain, however, damn it. Patrick Surtain was my Brian Burns.
My man crush is not going to be available.
It's not going to be coming to this team. Like, I willed the Christian McCaffrey thing to happen, but like, I could not get the Patrick Surtain thing to happen. But it's all right.
Hey, you wanted Leonard Floyd, so
I got Leonard Floyd to happen too. A year too late, but yeah. Would have been nice to have Leonard Floyd's 10.5 sacks on the other side of Nick Bosa's 10.5 sacks last year.
I mean, in my opinion, I think we're gonna run the ball. We're gonna test the run defense pretty early and hard and fast in the early part of the game. We're going there. We're going to see how that works out, because if we can establish the run game fast and early, that's going to really make a big difference in the overall outcome. So I really see us, putting out Christian McCaffrey and Jordan Mason and maybe Devo and doing a whole lot there in the run game to see how the Jets are going to stack up against the run. And I think that's where we're going, first and early, but we'll see. They could come out and throw a deep ball,
Yeah, I could see us running heavily, but I'm interested in the Sauce Gardner and Brandon Ayuk matchup.
Yeah, and I'm worried about that only because Brandon Ayuk's held out the whole time. So how much real action are we gonna put to Brandon if he hasn't had the playbook and he hasn't been involved all off season until 2 days ago, and by his own admission to some extent too. So you might not see the action he should see in that matchup by his own behavior and that whole contract situation. So hopefully he's game ready. I don't know. They might draw some things up and see what happens, but it'll be interesting.
Is it Super Bowl or bust this year for Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch?
Isn't it every year?
Like they get fired?
Yes.
Oh no.
I mean, there would have to be 20 for that to happen. It would just have to be such an epic failure. Honestly, no, I don't see it. Sorry. No. As much as some people probably want it, which is weird. No.
It is very weird for people to actually want that.
And people do, and we talk about it all the time, right? Like it's with then who? What are we going to put in that spot? You have one of the greatest coaches ever, so we're always in the hunt. We're always in the thick of it. So you want to be there, or you want to be down and out for another 10 years? Pick your poison.
Jed York just said back in January that even if we lost to Detroit in the NFC Championship game, that he still saw it as a really great year. So if he's saying that, and now some people are saying, anything short of the Super Bowl this year, Kyle and John are out. Because the front office has had it up to here, and and all these sources like Grant Cohn's saying that he has someone on the inside, and what do you guys think?
Felipe, the janitor, is not someone on the inside. Okay.
I was gonna say, who's Grant talking to? The guard on the roof?
Yeah, Jethro, the security guard with the beard. Yep. Nope. Veronica, who works over in guest services, also not someone on the inside. I'm sure there's probably somebody that's like any sort of dramatic thing that probably likes to bitch and gripe about everything, and I'm sure they can probably feed Grant all the things that he wants. But at the end of the day, Grant Cohn only gets paid if he gets views, right?
Exactly. So he always has to have a hot take.
Yeah, I don't think the dude's door dashing around San Jose or Ubering people. He's doing this for a gig, so he's gotta dude's gonna make a living. So if you're interested in what he says, whether you think he's full of shit or whether you think he's the bee's knees, you're going to follow him, and then he's going to get views, and then he's going to get paid to continue to do this professionally. Yeah. So if you want to continue to engage him, that is your right and your convenience. Amen. That's how that works. That's how these work nowadays. That's how this whole thing goes. So,
Right. So with that being said, let's go to the hurry up offense and the 2-minute warning. And Becca, you're up.
Oh my goodness. Hey, football is here. It's Monday night. It's prime time. We got a big one. We need to start the season strong and get this win. I really don't have much more to say than that, but safe travels to everyone going out for home opener. Sadly, I'm not going. Chuck, thanks for coming on. Food is, always a hot spot in my heart. But yeah, go Niners. Let's do it.
Shout out to Chuck's Flavor Train. Thank you for coming on. It was awesome. The shirt I'm wearing tonight, in Shanahan We Trust. I can't express that anymore. Trust these guys, trust Kyle, trust John. This is going to be another special year with a better ending. Shout out to the chat. You guys were awesome tonight. Ty, we miss you. See you in a couple weeks. Next week there is no show because I will be out in California. But the following week we're actually going to be having Damon Bruce on. So tune in then. That would be September 18th. Maddie, you're up.
NinersNE.com for your tickets. Don't get your Patriots tickets, but do get your tickets for the Cardinals game. Why do you want to get your tickets for the Cardinals game? Because they'll be honoring Patrick Willis during that game for his Hall of Fame. So if you like Patrick Willis, which I'm pretty sure most of you do, and maybe you didn't get out to Canton like Becca did, you can get out for that one. Again, tickets. And of course, if you can ask Steve-O how much food you can eat using my tickets.
Yeah, and they're going to be honoring Frank Gore at the home opener.
Yeah.
Wow. They're bringing back all the hits. Try to get him in the Hall of Fame next.
He's getting a statue, right, in the museum.
Yeah,
that Frank Gore getting his statue.
Yeah. I believe so. Yeah. And there is a QR code to the left of Maddie. Usually it's to the left of Ty, but tonight it's to the left of Maddie, and it's for the Golden Heart Fund. So please, scan the QR code and donate. And with that being said, thank you, everybody, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
Bang, bang.
And of course, for the upstart 49ers, they're 6 yards away from Pontiac. 3rd and 3.
We'll see a pickup sometime on the right side, possibly.
Montana looking, throwing in the end zone.